Right now, on to the point.
This significant piece of housing legislation must go forward.
The problem is government.
Tonight, a major piece of housing legislation could go into effect, what it means for the state. Plus, new details in the first of its kind midterm political convention, how California Republicans are hoping to cash in. Despite 2 straight nights of bombing each other, both Iran and the U.S. are still willing to come to the table. And get ready for rain. The weather changes headed our way. In just hours, a bipartisan federal housing bill designed to make housing more affordable will become law. Good evening. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To the Point. I'm Alex Bell. Now, this bill could go into effect without the president's signature. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen has the latest tonight for us.
Well, Alex, this housing bill is designed to tackle the nation's affordability crisis, and it's been sitting on the president's desk for the past 10 days. According to the Constitution, any bill that isn't signed or vetoed by the president within 10 days will become law. It has full congressional support, but the president has been open about not signing it until Congress passes the controversial Save America Act for voter ID and proof of citizenship requirements.
In this Truth Social post ahead of the Saturday midnight deadline, President Donald Trump says, quote, "I will not sign the housing bill, which has been fully approved by Congress and sent to the White House, in protest over the fact that the U.S. Senate is not capable of passing the Save America Act."
They want a lot of communists to come in. I'm saying it a little bit differently, but the people that they're pushing are communists, and this country is not going to have communists.
The president made those comments after canceling a planned signing of the 21st Century Road to Housing Act in June. The bill would limit large investors from buying additional single-family homes, speed up approvals to get homes built faster, especially in the event of a natural disaster, and provide more support for cities to develop more housing.
This significant piece of housing legislation must go forward. There's no option here. We have to build low-income housing. We have to have grants for communities to develop the low and moderate housing programs. That's what this will do. We also need to have down payments for those people that want to be able to buy low and moderate income housing. And there's also a subsidy in this for renters.
Democratic Congressman John Garamendi, who authored provisions in the housing bill, called on President Trump this week to sign the legislation. Even though it took years to pass, this rare show of bipartisan support is something independent Congressman Kevin Kiley says is important to get things done.
I think it's going to be a major win when it comes to making life more affordable, but it's not nearly enough. I think this is just, a first step. It's a good sign. It's a good example of what can be accomplished when we put partisanship aside and actually try to focus on solutions.
Republican Congressman Tom McClintock has been openly critical of this bill, urging the president to veto it. He believes the main reason housing is so expensive is because of the government, saying this bill would contribute to the issue.
It's expensive mandates on construction. It's limited permits for buildings. It's exorbitant fees that they charge. It's restriction of land that's available for housing. They've flooded the market with subsidies, and adding 10 million more illegal aliens to the market under Biden didn't help things either.
And now I asked the White House if the president intends on signing the bill or vetoing it before the midnight deadline. A spokesperson would only point us to his Truth Social post, Alex.
All right, Jeannie, thank you. Tonight, the White House is defending President Trump's decision today to force out the final members of an independent election commission. Congress created the commission as part of the Help America Vote Act, a bipartisan law signed by former President George W. Bush in 2002. ABC's Olivia Rubin has more from the White House.
Well, President Trump has sought to tighten his grip over U.S. elections since coming back into office, and now overnight it appears the latest move as part of that effort, the White House forcing out 3 members of an independent bipartisan commission that helps administer elections around the country. The White House specifying that the one Republican resigned, and it's not exactly clear what happened with the 2 Democrat members, whether they were resigned or specifically were fired. But the White House is defending this move in a statement saying the president, quote, reserves the right to remove individuals that may not be totally aligned with the important task of securing America's elections and ensuring every legal vote is counted. But of course, on the other side of the aisle, Democrats are harshly criticizing the move. Senator Chuck Schumer saying that it is a, quote, brazen attempt to seize control of our elections before a single vote is cast this midterms. And he's adding that President Trump is gutting the independent agency that certifies voting systems and helps election officials run secure elections. Now, this might not be an independent body that everyday Americans are familiar with, but it is an independent, again, important to stress, an independent bipartisan commission that does the day in and day out work of helping administer elections around the country. And of course, this comes just months before the midterms. In Washington, Olivia Rubin, ABC News.
While the White House statement did not offer a specific reason for these removals, the Associated Press reports that the commission has previously declined to change the national voter registration form to require documentation of an applicant's U.S. citizenship. It's not clear if Trump will nominate new members or if those members that were removed from the commission will challenge their removals. Now, California Senator Alex Padilla is reacting to the news tonight. He helps with federal elections in his role in the Senate Rules Committee. He says in part, quote, Trump continues to double down on his efforts to erode trust in our elections, undermine independent oversight, and further his administration's attempt to take over elections. Americans deserve elections that are safe, secure, and run free from political interference. New details tonight about a first-of-its-kind GOP convention ahead of the midterm elections. The event will be held in September at the American Airlines Center out in Dallas. This is video from the 2024 Republican National Convention. While no party business or delegate voting will be happening this time, signs are pointing to this convention being a massive fundraiser for candidates, with states setting their own prices for tickets. We've learned that the California GOP says their prices vary, with some costing thousands of dollars. There's also a $250,000 package that includes 4 convention floor badges, hotel rooms, and more. The California GOP tells us in a statement tonight, quote, this is an opportunity to be part of a historic national Republican event while also helping fund the work we must do here at home. California will have a pivotal role in 2026. We need the resources to compete, protect our seats, expand the map, and defeat Democrats. Coming up on To the Point, following days of bombings where efforts stand on a deal with Iran, and a battle over goats at the state capitol, why a change to state wage laws could wipe the animals out.
And temperatures back in the mid-90s the next few days, but yeah, I've got a rain icon on Monday. Monsoon moisture pushing in, chance for showers in the valley. I've got a full look at the forecast after the break.
But first, another headlines tonight. A terrifying mid-air emergency on a Ryanair flight. Officials say an engine failure sent debris crashing into the plane, shattering a passenger window. One man was nearly pulled out, his wife reportedly gripping his legs to keep him inside. He's now in the ICU. A 17-year-old is now in custody, accused of killing 18-year-old Jamario Baker outside of a Sam Yetto graduation in Fairfield. Police say the team was tracked down in Texas more than a month after the shooting. Baker was shot in the school parking lot. 3 others were hurt. And crews are once again draining the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool after an algae bloom overtook the water just weeks after renovations. The new blue coating is peeling, which President Trump has blamed on vandalism, though critics say it's due to the repair work. The Secretary of the Interior has also said the pool may be littered with debris from their 4th of July fireworks show.
All right, let's get a check of our forecast with meteorologist Brendan Minchev. Brendan, I know some changes are coming after the weekend, right?
Yeah, we've got a weather impact alert on the way for Monday. We've got monsoon moisture on the way in over the weekend, but that first big push of it arrives on Monday. So this is going to give us the chance for some scattered showers in the valley, as well as an isolated thunderstorm chance. The bottom line here, be ready for a change. I'm not saying it's going to be a lot of rain, but certainly even a little bit of rain in July. It's pretty unusual. 90 in Sacramento was our high temperature this afternoon, which is actually 3 degrees cooler than normal for the time of year. Also cooler than where we were yesterday, but warmer days are ahead, and it goes with that push of moisture on the way in. 84 in Sacramento right now, 90 in Stockton, 94 in Modesto, 70s and 80s in the high country. And as we look at current wind speeds, a much stronger and more widespread delta breeze compared to what we saw yesterday is a big reason why we're much cooler than this time yesterday. In Sacramento, we are 11 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago. Plenty of sunshine, 84 degrees. A very pleasant evening is ahead of us. We'll be dropping through the 70s, then 60s, and starting off Saturday morning in the mid to upper 50s. 57 in Sacramento and Stockton, 64 in Modesto, some 50s in the upper valley, 60s in the foothills, 70 Placerville, 71 Nevada City, and 40s in the high country. Mild and mostly clear, but we're going to start to see some clouds building on Saturday. My forecast high tomorrow is 95 in Sacramento, 97 Stockton, 99 89, Manteca, 97 in Modesto, 90s in the foothills and 80s in the high country. So definitely warmer than where we've been. And again, some building clouds. We'll see that on Futurecast here. A few clouds through the overnight, mainly clear. Mostly sunny through tomorrow. Then when we get to the late afternoon into the evening, we see a lot more cloud coverage moving through. Mostly cloudy to start Sunday morning and off and on clouds throughout Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds. Dry in the valley, but a chance for showers in the high country on Sunday. As we get into Monday morning, this model's not showing any showers, but I'm telling you, there's going to be a chance for some light showers across the valley on Monday morning in addition to the cloud coverage. That's how much moisture is going to be pushing into Northern California. As we get to Monday afternoon, we'll start to be watching for thunderstorm potential in the high country. Here's the reason why we've got all this moisture on the way, and this high pressure system is moving off to the east. It's going to pull up all this tropical moisture as we get towards Monday, and then we're going to continue to see tropical moisture being fed into Northern California even as we head towards next weekend, because the tropics are heating up and the weather pattern is going to push a couple of those systems off of the California coast. I'm not saying we're going to see landfall, but certainly these storms are looking to move north and then out over the Pacific, which means we're going to get a lot of tropical moisture over the next 10 days into Northern California. So temperatures are going to stay warm to hot in the mid to upper 90s. In a couple days next week, we may see some triple digits.
All right, Brendan, thank you. And don't forget our ABC 10 Weather Impact team, always here for you if you want to get the latest conditions anytime. Make sure you scan that QR code on your screen. You'll see some easy instructions on how to download the app. All right, right after the break, gas prices are rising once again, why it's hard to know if the trend will continue. And then later we hit the back roads. Tonight we head to the backcountry for an unforgettable horseback ride experience. Well, new video tonight shows the White House blocked by scaffolding and a tarp. Officials say the White House is undergoing security upgrades, including its front entrance. The changes have long been pushed for by the Secret Service. Workers have also been repairing exterior columns at President Trump's request. And the security enhancements come as Trump has been the target of multiple assassination attempts. Just today, it is being reported that Israel shared intelligence with the U.S. that Iran was working on a new plan to assassinate the president. The U.S. has not reportedly vetted the intelligence themselves, and some American officials suggesting the report could be an effort to sway Trump's decision-making as he weighs whether to intensify military action against Iran. President Trump told the New York Post on Friday that he has left instructions for how the U.S. should respond if he were to be assassinated. Trump said in that event, the American military should bomb Iran at overwhelming levels. And despite 2 straight nights of bombing each other, tonight both Iran and the U.S. are still willing to come to the table. ABC's Martha Raddatz has the latest.
Iran is still bracing for additional strikes from the U.S. after Iran launched missiles and drones at U.S. military facilities in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan. All of those missiles were intercepted, but there were no new U.S. attacks overnight, despite 2 nights of bombing and the fact that the president has declared the ceasefire over. This comes on the final day of a 6-day funeral service for the Ayatollah killed in the opening rounds of this war well over 4 months ago. Massive crowds mourned the slain leader, issuing a stark warning to President Trump, unfurling banners and threatening the president with death and offering a $100 million bounty. But technical talks about Iran's nuclear program are continuing. A U.S. official telling ABC that the United States is still committed to finding a resolution so Iran can never possess a nuclear weapon. But there has been no evidence of progress. And with the missile strikes this week, only major setbacks. Back to you.
As tensions rise overseas, gas prices are increasing yet again. Right now, according to AAA, the average price for a gallon of regular unleaded gas in California is sitting at about $5.40. That's close to $1 more than it was a year ago when it was at $4.54 a gallon. Meanwhile, the state legislature is on its month-long summer break, but lawmakers will be coming back to tackle a lot of issues. One of them will involve some goats. Goats are a big piece of the state's plan to tackle wildfires, and herders come from across the globe to take care of the goats. Now, they are compensated with a monthly salary and housing, but now Part of a new state law requires goat herders to be compensated on a 24 hours per day, 7 days per week hourly basis. One company says that could bump salaries from $64,000 to $240,000 a year, something they just cannot afford.
We will effectively sell these goats to slaughter, and we will go out of business and probably file bankruptcy on this business and be done with it in the state of California.
They want lawmakers to reverse this change in state law and note that sheep herders are exempt from the law. Lawmakers have until August 31st to make those changes. Still ahead, an unforgettable ride in the Sierra backcountry where roads do not exist. Well, you never know what you'll see on the back roads. Tonight, John Bartel taking us to the Sierra backcountry for a one-of-a-kind horseback ride.
In many cases, it would be difficult to drive a car to the granite ridges, the wildflower meadows, and through the vast forests that hide in the Sierra Nevada. So, in many cases, it's best to see it from the back of a horse.
You got something there. Pull back. Pull back a little bit.
Just outside of Pinecrest, California, is Aspen Meadow Pack Station, the gateway to the immigrant wilderness, a rugged landscape that stretches towards Yosemite National Park.
We're going to have Yosemite country, so we border the park, so everything's going to be like big granite spires and alpine backcountry lakes, right? Like good fishing and beautiful rock formations and stuff. Because, we're kind of in the shadow of Yosemite, we don't get as many people here either, which makes it pretty special.
For nearly a century, Aspen Meadow Pack Station has been introducing visitors to the wild beauty of the Sierra Nevada. Today, it's owned by Seth DeMille, who, as a kid, worked here and learned to ride.
This is my 20th summer. Yeah, at the same place, so I've never left. Yeah, I was here, 8th grade was my first summer. My mom dropped me off and I never left, so yeah. Pretty special place to me,
Riding distances here vary from a half day to a week long. Our ride begins beneath the towering pines before climbing towards the scenic overlook over Bell Meadows.
We'll look out at Aspen Meadows, looking over Bell Meadows. So below us here we have about a stringer of 5 meadows that we're going to be looking at, and this is where our half-day ride goes, actually.
From the overlook, millions of years of geology are on display.
Most of this country is all carved from glaciers, right? So you're gonna have everywhere you look, you're gonna see a big piece of granite with a huge rock sitting on top of it.
The area's history runs nearly as deep as the canyons. Native people traveled and lived in these mountains during the summer months, and later settlers crossed these same rugged passes with wagons.
It's steep, right? And they'd get there with their wagons and they'd have a big system of cables, and then they'd hook them up and you'd unyoke your mules or whatever you had, and then they'd drop their wagons down with the cables.
Aspen Meadow Pack Station itself traces its roots back to 1929, helping visitors reach remote wilderness destinations long before modern roads existed.
So Aspen Meadow has been here since 1929, and I've been here for the last 20 years, so not that long. And then we first started as Strawberry Stables in the Pinecrest area and have moved to the current location in the 60s, and now we're here.
Seth says horses and riders may have come and gone, but the immigrant wilderness has changed very little. It's a place where the cell signal fades, the trails stretch for miles, and the journey is every bit as rewarding as the destination.
When I take someone 10 miles in, because of how it's not Yosemite, we can take you somewhere where you're not going to see other people. And you're just going to be there basically by yourself for a week camping, and it makes that pretty special. You get that real backcountry experience.
Riding the trails at Aspen Meadow Pack Station, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
You can find more Bartel's Backroads destinations on the ABC 10 TV streaming app. They are under the Shows tab. Just scroll down and you'll see travel. Click Bartell's Back Roads and you'll see all the episodes right there. And just a quick reminder before we go here, as we mentioned before with Brendan, some changes are coming to the forecast. We have been talking about possible showers as soon as this Monday. Don't forget, on our free ABC 10 app, you can track that live 24/7 radar. Just scan that QR code on your screen and you'll see some easy instructions on how to download the app. As always, thank you so much for watching, for always inviting us into your home. You already know if you have something that you think the team and I should be looking into, you can always email and reach out to us at tothepoint@abc10.com. And if you want to catch up on any stories that you might have missed here, I know we keep talking about it, but you can always download our app to watch the news anytime, anywhere. Have a great weekend. I'll see you right back here on Monday.